are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Absolute craziness what is happening in the market right now. There is a mega whale shorting Bitcoin and is being hunted by the Bitcoin bulls to liquidate him at the moment. And also one of the biggest signals is continuing to flash that is going to show us that there is more and more upside for Bitcoin still in the cards, in the cycle, that there is still more upside power in this cycle. So let's talk about all of this. And good morning, everyone. I got my coffee, obviously, locked and loaded, ready to go. And we have to talk about these developments in Bitcoin. So make sure to stay all the way through the stream. And let's go. So good morning to each and every one of you. I see there is some excitement in the chat. People feel that something is going on. So we have Trucking Hank in the house. Good morning to you, who's never missing a stream. Bodo also here. Good morning, my rare hodler. Jasper Frank, Helen Moyam, and Sven. I'm not saying the last name. I never can. Good morning to you guys. Smash up the like button if you can. If you're driving, please don't try to do that. Then you can do that later. Subscribe to the channel. Notifications on if you haven't yet. And let's jump right into the action. Also, before I forget it, thank you so much to my rare hodlers like Trucking Hank and Bodo who are supporting me here on a monthly basis and make it possible that I can come on here and put out these live streams and sometimes videos. So thank you for that. If you want to support like this, like all these people here on the wall, then you can be subscribe to the Rare Hodler tier. It's not much, but it's a monthly, so your choice. Otherwise, free support for this channel is liking and subscribing and watching. So let's jump right in. So there is this whale that has a short open of the amount of about 4,500 Bitcoin with a 40x leverage. The liquidation point at least yesterday was at 86,000 and the market is green. So it doesn't look that good for him at the moment. The entry was $84,000, so maybe that's already okay-ish. The market was hunting him yesterday, where the P&L was about $500,000 underwater. But right now, I think it looks a little bit better. The question is, does he know anything or so? What could crash Bitcoin? And this is why this short is open. I don't know, but we are sitting at 83,000. So yesterday, as you can see here on this chart, we went all the way up to 85,400. So it wasn't quite possible to liquidate. But now this week, starting out with a new candle, and by the way, is a little bit of a continuation here. The candle body is green, and we have been going up to almost 84,000 again. So we will see what happens, and if this whale is closing down, what sticks out is this perfect bounce here. What sticks out is the momentum shift in, at least threatening, or in our terms positive, in the stochastic RSI, and also a bounce here on this very, very important RSI line, which I want to talk about before we go into more fundamentals a little bit. And check this out. So we have this line here, right? So there you go. So, and I mean, this is a Head and Shoulders pattern. Not gonna lie, this is not that great, but we are bouncing here, and we should, if we want this not to turn into a disaster, we should bounce and continue high here. Otherwise, this is going to be a little bit problematic, because then if we lose this and we put in lower lows and lower highs here, you have yourselves another downtrend in the macro RSI, which is now the weekly here, right? On the monthly, it looks a little bit different. On the monthly, you see our line here, it's completely different. But on the monthly also, we have this a lower high here, and we want to come back before we put also lower low in here, and on the RSI forming a downtrend. We don't want that, right? So we are really on the verge of this market to go into decisive moment. But there are some positive signs, like long wicks on the bottom here that we see right now. 14 days until this closes, and yeah, we will see. So this whale. Also, besides this whale, there are a lot of shorts open that are being hunted right now. So here we see the Ethereum shorts, and you see there is a record position or record positioning of Ethereum shorts open right now. And usually when the market really goes down into bear market and so on, not everyone is convinced of that, and then that's usually not the majority putting shorts and everyone wins in the other direction. So maybe the masses are wrong here and are getting liquidated fairly soon also on Ethereum. So from last message that I could find or saw from 2 hours ago was that the 40x Bitcoin short whale is still holding the position, and it's valued at 450 million total. So he also had to scale up from 380 to 400, almost 450 million that we see here. Here you can see its short position, and a long on Melania. I don't know why. It's crazy. Okay, let's not talk about this. Yeah, that's madness. Okay, that is the same somehow. Okay, there we go. So what is though the signal that is going to drive Bitcoin has now increased. The M2 rises at the fastest pace in 30 months now, and a year-over-year change increase in the M2 in the global money supply is bullish for Bitcoin, bullish for risk on assets, and bullish for the stock markets in general. You see this here also, the faster this M2 rises, of course it also means that your money gets debased on faster pace, right? But the good news here is if this global liquidity is going up at a faster pace, that also benefits Bitcoin, right? As we said before, that Bitcoin basically being a function, a hedge against this debasement. Hey Vivi Zombie, what's going on? Hey G Money, good morning to you. Didn't see you there. Vivi Zombie says Devi. Yeah, we can talk about it in a second, but I think Devi is pretty okay, right? Also here we see it, Bitcoin and M2 growth of global year-over-year change, Fed, ECB, GBM, China, Japan, and so on. So everything in one chart. The global M2, which is a blue line, hits an all-time high. That's the first news. So that Never has there been that much in circulation. And then the M2 year-over-year growth is what we see here is increasing again. And then you have the Bitcoin price in red here. So last time we had a spike. This was followed by the Bitcoin all-time high in the year-over-year change, right? So faster pace, and then it came back, right? Then there was this Q4 tightening, so to say, and now it's coming back again. You see how this moves in waves, right? And here, if the big waves are separated and this goes into negative, that's your bear market, right? So you could even argue that we had a mini bear market in this bull flag here, something like that, from an M2 perspective. So I would say us rising here could mean that the bull market is going to be back on very, very soon. I mean, we have talked about how gold is showing it already, how M2 in general, M2 development in general is showing it, but also the M2 year-over-year change is supporting this thesis that there is another leg, that the prices are coming back. So we will see if this happens in a second. The same thing is, the same question is, will the Fed end the quantitative tightening before May, in the sense of interest rate cuts before May? And this is a little bit divided here, right? Because we saw inflation going down a little bit, but we saw also them pausing because of inflation, and we saw that if we overlay rate cuts and pauses and so on over charts, that in many cases, if there is rate cutting and pausing and then again rate cutting, we had a big fat crash at our hands after that, right? That is not happening every time, but we did. I don't know if that pun was intended, but yes, let's take a sip, boys. Hey, Pro Legendary, what's going on? Good to see you. So I'm running here through the topics, guys, but that is basically what I'm thinking about right now. Setting the stage for more global liquidity. So let's see, the rate decision, if I'm not wrong, is on the 19th, in 2 days. Let's quickly grab one of these charts here that we don't need. Or let's take this one here, CME Fed Watch. So you can go to this yourself. Always, obviously, you see the countdown for the next Fed decision, and you will see also what the market thinks. And the market thinks that we are not going to see a rate cut this March, and then the next chance is 7th of May, okay? And for 7th of May, the market sees a 30% chance of rate cut. But right now, you see this here, the current target rate is 425 to 450. That's where we are. Only 1% sees we might be cutting here. And usually the market is right, so probably there are not going to be surprises in March. But if there are, then this could shake the market in either direction, right? Because if there are, it means that the Fed is moving less cautious despite still 2.8% inflation. And that could be a little bit, that could worry investors, let's put it that way. Let's look at the Bitcoin side, because the OTC desk balance is drying up, right? We had a little bit moving back to the OTC, but this is still drying up. It's still sitting on January, by the way. I see here these screenshots that are being posted. So where's the updated one? We will see, but or the scale is wrong. Yeah, I don't know, because this is more or less where we are, and this is saying January, so the scale isn't updated here somehow. 20. Okay, it only has 2 data points, as I see here, 24 Jan and July, and then Jan and July. We're not at July. Okay, so this is pretty updated. But what we see is basically the OTC supply of Bitcoin is very low compared to where it was in the last bull market, right? So arguing from that, you should see an increase in this OTC balance if we were coming closer to a top, as many whales would like to sell their Bitcoin OTC, right? And we don't see that. So could we be at this stage here? Question mark, right? You see this all the way coming down until we are hitting our top. So since we don't see really a turnaround and a big spike on the OTC desk, that could mean that this big explosion is still coming. One more evidence for that, right? This we have already talked about, but I want to show it again. Again, we have talked about global M2 money supply front running Bitcoin, right? And it's just on a tear. So if we have a 10-week lead by this, then we should be going higher very, very soon. Okay. Then we have the reserve risk indicator. And the reserve risk indicator shows, is one of the crypto signals that you also can see on these sites, like, what is the name? Bitcoin Magazine Pro and so on. It shows that we are nowhere near right now, the top signals that we had before. Either the cycle is completely different than before. I mean, here also we didn't reach it, but now we are really far from it, right? I mean, we are in this green zone. We're basically back in the accumulation zone after only sticking our head out. So also all these indicators, and we can look at more, none of them work anymore from one cycle to another, or we're just not there and everyone is fearful of missing the point to sell, and that's why everyone is so cautious, right? So either or third option, we don't really have a bull market here because financial conditions are so bad, and only Bitcoin but no altcoin, and we're just dropping from a pre-bull into a bear without having all these indicators flashing. I mean, that is an option, but since it's so much out of the pattern, I will not go with this until my indicators flash bear market, right? And that is not the case yet. So let's see. Also Bitcoin dominance. If we look at the setup is redrawn here, right? We're expecting this to turn around at some point, right? Final altcoin shakeout and then boom, crash to the downside. We will see when this happens. I'm not sure. You can redraw this type of pattern as much as you want. But yeah, so let's see. Here's one more for you guys. Pi cycle top indicator, if it then loads. Let's see, guys. There we go. There we go. Or maybe not. Let's cheer for this chart to load. Your view of this chart is limited. Okay, there you go. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we're in our dip here, so we can see that dip, and we see that the Pi cycle top indicator bands are not close to each other at all. So according to Pi cycle top indicator, as you can see here, all these red lines marked when the top is in, there is no top in, which aligns with everything that we have been talking about before, right? The same goes for, let's see here, the MVRVZ score that we also want to load. MVRVZ score in every top was spiking, and at least even in our interrupted bull run last time, hitting the red area. Okay, now MVRVZ score, which basically shows you whether the market is over or undervalued. So the market is undervalued when it is in this green band, and it's overvalued when it hits the red band. and it's okay-ish when it is in between, that shows that we are more to the undervalued side than the overvalued side at the moment, okay? And I think this is one thing is really important, because people could argue that, oh yeah, but look here, you're spiking out, and then here you're only in this, and maybe then here you go to the 4. So first of all, we are not even at the 4. And secondly, if that's the case, why do we go every time exactly in undervalued when we are in bear market? Why don't we stop before and turn around before? So I would say no. I would say this is the anomaly. This here from the last bull market is the anomaly, because no blow off top. We have ended the party soon with panic rate cuts after a weird, super fast stimulating money supply. This is not the normality. Also with regards to M2, right? So I would say this is the outlier, and we should have a massive spike into this zone at some point when the market is going into overvalued, and we're even forming higher lows and higher highs here as for now. So the next turnaround should be coming here fairly soon. If we're not having a crash like here and drop back into the accumulation zone and the valuation zone of that, right? One more time, which happened in the C crisis, right? But I mean, it doesn't have to happen. This dip is already going pretty low. I mean, you see, all the bull market action usually happens above where we are right now. Okay, so MVRV score is telling us a good story, right? As are the other indicators. Guys, we have about 20 people here, so make sure to smash up the like button right now for this live stream. Thank you very much for being here, supporting it, and we are looking into a good future here for Bitcoin. Let's quickly check out all the indicators at a glance. Refreshed and ready. So let's check this out here. So this position should give us. So this here you can also, everyone, it would be good if you could make a setup for yourselves where you just have some tabs open to always watch the market, right? And one of them, in my opinion, is this CoinGlass.com bull market peak signals. And you see here whether it's on a hodl or sell scale, more or less. It's just, that doesn't mean that you hodl or sell based on that, but it means that you get more for your evaluation. And right now we see there are 30 signals, zero is hit. One of them we just looked at is this one, the Pi cycle top indicator, and the MVRVZ score is also here, number 8, right? This one, okay? And then you see hit or not. Did one of these signals flash or not? And from 30 signals, Pi cycle top indicator, pure multiple, Bitcoin rainbow chart, days of ETF, net outflows, ETF to Bitcoin ratio, MVRVZ score, 2-year MA multiplier, and so on. Even though that some of them might not hit, yeah, very likely some of them will not hit, not flash. Altcoin season index, for example, you also have, right? Bitcoin long-term holder supply, Bitcoin reserve risk, Bitcoin hodl ratio, Bitcoin macro oscillator, Bitcoin MVRV ratio, 4-year moving average, and so on. Even though that some of them might not hit, very unlikely none of them will hit, right? None of them show. So once the first indicator flashes, that could be then interesting. But 0 of 30 plus our own that we are following, like the TSI not flashing, doesn't look like a top form to me. Except something is completely off, right? Pro Legendary says, I wonder if I would be more anxious when we are at month into pump, not knowing when to cash out. Yeah, so I think all of this what we are doing here is, okay, what can we take as a basis for either saying, okay, we are getting wrecked now completely, right? Which we are at the, look, at this TSI, right? So the TSI has room for one more month negative before it will. So we could close this month like this right now, and we would looking downwards, right? Would be looking downwards. We could go another month negative, and we would be threatening a bear cross, which never has been wrong before, right? But for the actual cross, we need to go April and May also negative, right? So there is still room, and this is exactly what the market plays these rooms to exhaustion. Okay, bear market indicators and so on. So I will be really waiting for these signals to then say, okay, I have to do risk mitigation. I have to move out of my altcoin stacks, even though I'm down or whatever, right? Or even I cannot do anything. I have to hodl now because what my bet that just doesn't go up, right? That could be the case, but that's not the case yet. And I mean, we are. So you see this here, right? Every top out. Every is good. There's only two, right? But these two tops, these two hits on the line have been perfectly, and with perfectly I mean down to the month, told the top, and this cross has perfectly called the bear market, right? Here is the cross. Bear market start, bear market start. So here also every of these crosses has called the bull market correctly. Bull market start. Here, bull market, not bottom, right? Bull market start. And it, sorry, you can see this on the left. So here we go. Bull market start has called here. You missed a bigger chunk of the gains, but also it has called this run up. Bull market start here, right? Bam, mega run up. Okay, so bull market start was here, and we are already in this run up since a while. So we are closer to the end than we are to the start. That's for sure. Okay. Now, if this crosses and confirms a bear cross, I will call the bear market, because I think this signal is very good, right? In that sense. What is also a little bit weird is this, right? The stochastic RSI on the monthly is really, I mean, I don't know how much the stochastic RSI on a monthly can tell us, but the last time that we moved down on the monthly, we got ourselves a massive dip here, and we never recovered from that in the stochastic RSI. We were straight. We came up to one more top without the stochastic RSI reacting much. So the stochastic RSI is only telling us about momentum. So we had some positive momentum, and then it was interrupted. This was a 55% dip, right? So look at stochastic RSI. We came all the way down here on the 55%, and then we had a momentum shift for a couple of months, which brought us to the new fake out high, and then it was bear market, right? So the stochastic RSI alone never can tell you a story. Never. But in combination with others, like for example bear cross here and this, I mean that could be a story, right? And maybe then the RSI losing the head and shoulders pattern on the weekly and so on, then you really have a tough time. Then you have a problem. But for now, let's just recap that we are looking at this inverse head and shoulders. We have a breakout. We are confirming a retest here. We are slightly red on the monthly, but we are confirming a retest, double retest, or 2-month retest. If complete, we are flying. Remember, our macro factors, and this is where the TA ends. Our macro factors say we are about to fly here. Remember that. Yeah. So the DXY says we should be flying now as we're collapsing on the DXY. See this here? Every time we collapse on the DXY, we have a big fat run up. You see this here, and here is all past bull markets. Then, where is my other one? Okay. USDT dominance says we are about to allocate money into the market if this turns out to be a top, which it very much could be, right? That these are lower highs and now lower low, meaning we break down. We will observe, but USDT dominance is telling that story. Where's my... Okay, let's just take this chart. And gold, just to recap one more time, is telling us as well that we are, and gold is very likely, so gold is approaching 3,000 again and is trying to break out. Bitcoin will follow gold at some point because it always does, never fails. Right? Maybe that's already the bounce to follow gold, but Bitcoin never fails to go with gold, right? So yeah, we will see, right? Here, this run up, we have it priced in, then this down is here, and now this run up is not priced in. So this is the actual, wait a second. This is the actual comparison, right? This is where, yeah, let's move. It's a little bit weird to move these lines accordingly, right? So that you have them on scale. But yeah, that's basically what's missing. This piece is missing here. So what do I expect next? This, right? Because maybe. Yeah, this chop here, maybe a little bit more of like here and then like this, makes total sense in my opinion, right? So that for gold, and that also for today, because I have to end this a little bit quicker. I hope you enjoyed this little run up through the global liquidity topic. I know the market is exhausting right now. I know it's boring, but this is exactly, as I said many times before, it's not the falling knife and the 75% correction that shakes people out. It does, but what mostly shakes people out is the boring times and these times where it seems like the market is never going to come back, is never doing anything. And I think that's where we are right now again. We are again at this break point, at this shakeout point, where people think, okay, it's not doing anything. Some other investments could have been better. People have bought at 100K. They're now at 83K. They look at their investment and they think like, fuck, I'm down so much, and potentially we are going to crash here to I don't know where, because all the people on Twitter are telling these horror stories. So I think that's a time where most people in crypto, they are not able to survive this, and they're just moving away with their funds and they're done with crypto, and then the market comes back roaring and they are like, oh damn, I should have stayed in it, right? So I think that's where we are right now. That's the situation that we find ourselves in right now. And if we see any fundamentals crashing down, we will obviously talk about this. But for now, that's basically it, guys. Make sure to smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel, notifications on, and wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon, and I catch you in the next live stream or video.